Hi, I'm Mark. This is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring you guys a review of the HomeKit compatible smart smoke alarm from Meross. Now, this model I'm talking about in the video is the GS559AH, and this is the one that is HomeKit compatible. And if we start off by talking about price, this is actually a really affordable product, as are many of Meross's other products. And this product retails between £30 and £35, depending on whether you get the hub with it or not. Now, if you don't already have a hub, you are going to need one if you are picking up this device. However, once you do have a hub, it will work with up to 16 different Meross devices. And this is typically their sensors, because a lot of the things like their smart plugs don't require the hub. And let's talk about design at the start of this review. So this fire alarm looks like most fire alarms. It's round and it has a big push button on the center for testing, and it has a speaker grille. The alarm itself has a twist to fit mechanism like most fire alarms, which makes it easy to add to your ceiling. And a really interesting thing is that Meross have decided to add no branding to this at all. This means it just looks like a normal unbranded smoke alarm on your ceiling. So let's talk about specification. So firstly, and most importantly, it complies with the EN 14604 regulation from Europe. This means it is safe and reliable to use, and it's great to have an external certification with this device. The device itself is powered by two AA batteries, and Meross say these will last for up to a year. These also come with the device. Now, in the Meross app, you can see a visual indicator of battery status, but no percentage. Now, I've been using this for about a month and my battery indicator is still full, so I think a year is probably going to be about right, and maybe I'll even get a bit more out of it. It's also worth saying that you do get a notification when battery life is getting low, so you know to replace those batteries. The alarm itself has an 85 decibel speaker built in, and that's measured at 3 meters distance. This is great for making sure you actually hear the alarm when it goes off. In terms of connectivity, it connects to your home network on a 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi network. The same goes for the hub that is included. And whilst I'm not going to talk much about the hub in terms of its design and specification, the hub is just a small white device with a button on it, and it takes a micro USB connector. It also comes with a charging brick, which is great. The alarm also has built-in heat detection as well as smoke detection. And then finally, in terms of compatibility, whilst it is not Google or Amazon Voice Assistant compatible, it is compatible with Samsung SmartThings, and most importantly for me, Apple HomeKit. So let's talk about setting this up. So setting it up is relatively simple, but you will need the Meross app. And the whole process starts off by you pairing the little hub with your Meross app. As part of this process, you will also scan the HomeKit QR code, which is on the side of the hub, and this adds it into Apple HomeKit as a hub. This means any products added to that hub in the future will automatically appear in your Home app as Apple Home products. From there, the app also talks you through adding the alarm itself and binding it to the hub. At this point, as I suggested just now, it automatically appears in your Apple Home app. It's at this point during the setup you can give it a name as well and assign it to a room. You will then also need to go and do the same in the Apple Home app, because that data doesn't transfer across. And then it's also at this point in the app itself you're going to want to test it. And you can test the alarm using the app or by pressing the big button on it. So let's talk about what it's like to use. Now, this is one of those smart home devices that you want to know works, but actually you don't ever want to have to use. And this, of course, is the same with any fire and smoke alarm you buy. It's something that you hope works, but you never want to use. And so all you ever really do is use the test mode and change your batteries when they need to be changed. This is why that European certification I mentioned at the start is so important for devices like this, because it tells you they have a certain standard and quality about them. So I'm going to talk about how this device will work and not how it does work, because obviously I haven't set a fire in order to test it. So when the alarm does go off, you will hear the noise itself coming directly from the smoke detector, but then also you'll get a notification from the Meross app if that is set up, but also in Apple HomeKit. The HomeKit functionality means that notification will come through to whichever Apple device you have with you, whether that's your phone or your watch or your Mac. This is great for knowing what's going on when you're not at home, but also because these come through as critical alerts, even if your device is on like a sleep mode and it's during the night, it will still wake up and tell you. If, like me, you wear your Apple Watch to bed, that means if something was to happen during the night, you will get a notification to your wrist that vibrates even in sleep mode. The Meross app also lets you configure notifications for some other things as well. This includes things like malfunctions, high temperature, smoke detection, and low battery. Personally, whilst it does technically mean you're going to get notifications for things like smoke and fire twice because you'll get it on your Home app and the Meross app, I actually think that's worth having with something like this. It's also in the Meross app. You can test it if you don't want to reach out and press that button. It's also really handy having that malfunction feature because you'll know if something has gone wrong, whereas a traditional fire alarm, you won't know if it's not working until something happens and it doesn't work. If we talk specifically about the HomeKit functionality, which for me was really important when I decided to purchase this, then the actual device appears as a sensor in your Apple Home app. And this sensor basically sits on that top line of the room or your overall home app. And it's designed to tell you if smoke is detected or not, although it is also triggered for fire. This is just how Apple word devices in the Home app. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, this will come through as a critical notification. So whichever mode you have your phone in, if that's silent or focus, you will still get that notification. And of course, because it is in your Apple Home app, it also means you can tie it into other automations. For example, maybe if the alarm is triggered, you want to turn on all of the lights in your house. This might be really useful for adding an extra step to ensure that you do wake up if that alarm goes off, especially if you're a heavy sleeper. So all in all, what's the verdict on this smart smoke alarm from Meross? At a really affordable price and with HomeKit compatibility, this Meross device is fantastic. As someone looking for a smart smoke alarm, it does exactly what I want. It has the European certification, which means I know it meets standards that it needs to for a device of this type. And on top of that, it's got smart functionality. This means I'll be notified wherever I am if the alarm does go off, but also that I can tie it into extra things to help make sure I do wake up if there is an emergency. One of the really nice things is that Meross bundle the hub in a really affordable price if you do need the hub to go with it. And of course, once you've got that hub, you can tie it into their other sensor products really easily, which also require a hub. These products are things like their leak detector and smart radiator valves. If you're just looking at things like Meross smart plugs, you will not need the hub. All in all, for the price and the quality, I think this is a really good product. And actually, Meross are producing some great devices for Apple users because so many of them are HomeKit compatible out the box. If you do want to pick one up, I have put a couple of links below. One is to the product on Amazon and one is to the product on the Meross website, because quite often the cheapest prices are on the Meross website. If you've got any questions, do stick me below and I'll answer those questions for you. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you guys again soon.